Hi, my name is Jamani Severson Long, Education Manager at Cincinnati Opera. For today's Opera Storybook Hour, I want to read you the story of Westward Ho, Carlotta, recommended for students kindergarten through 4th grade. Westward Ho, Carlotta tells the tale of an opera-singing cowgirl who journeys west. Following the book, be sure to stay tuned as soprano Victoria Okafor and accompanist Carol Walker perform Non disperar, CESARE. Enjoy. Westward Ho, Carlotta. Written by Candace Fleming, illustrated by David Caprow. Carlotta Caruza was a world-famous opera singer. She sang with a voice so melodious that audiences throbbed, sobbed, and swooned from its sheer beauty. But after her last triumphant tour, Carlotta had grown tired of opera houses. She longed to sing someplace different, someplace she had never sung before, someplace like the American West, said Carlotta. I will become the first opera star to serenade cowboys and buffaloes. It should be a delightful adventure. The other singers in Carlotta's opera company snorted in disbelief, but Carlotta just smiled and started packing. And the next morning, she boarded a stagecoach headed towards Deadeye, North Dakota. As her stagecoach bumped along the dusty trail, Carlotta whirled away the hours by practicing her scales. Up and down and up she sang, holding and trilling each note. The silvery sounds moved the driver, Missouri Mike, to tears. Jumpin' jackrabbits, he cussed. I wish she'd pipe down. I could hardly see where I'm going. But Carlotta's glorious voice rose higher and higher, growing stronger and stronger until she reached a spine-tingling E above high C. Missouri Mike's eyes gushed blinding tears. The horses reared. The stagecoach veered. Suddenly, an enormous boulder appeared. With a crack, one of the wheels snapped off of the stagecoach as it hit a big rock. It zigzagged to a stop. A pack of hungry wolves spied the crippling stagecoach. They lunged for it. Dancing dingoes, cussed Missouri Mike. We're dog food. Carlotta smiled. Fear not, she said. As the ferocious wolves snarled, Carlotta climbed out, cleared her throat, and trilled the overture from Prokofie's symphony, Peter and the Wolf. The wolves stilled. They sat. Their growls turned to puppy dog pants. They whined and wagged and rolled onto their backs, begging to have their bellies scratched. Such delightful animals you have in the West, Mr. Missouri, Carlotta said. Then she settled herself onto a rock while Mike fixed the wheel. Soon the stagecoach was bumping along to the trail of Deadeye. Yahoo! Cried Missouri Mike when it rode onto Fort Larrabee. Fresh water! Nope, croaked one of the soldiers, shaking his head. It hasn't rained in weeks. Leaping lizards, he cussed. We can't get far without water. Carlotta smiled. Never underestimate the power of music, Mr. Missouri. And she stepped onto the parched ground, propped open an umbrella, and broke into the aria from Britain's opera, Noah's Flood. A gusty wind blew through the fort. Black clouds rolled, lightning flashed, a clap of thunder broke open the sky, and rain poured down in sheets. Such delightful weather you have in the West, Mr. Missouri, Carlotta said. And as Missouri Mike watched, soaked to the skin, she closed her umbrella, climbed back into the stagecoach, and practiced her scales. News of Carlotta's feat traveled faster than Missouri Mike's stagecoach. By the time she finally reached Deadeye, the townsfolk were waiting, and so was Skullneck Sam, the meanest, most low-down hombre in the Dakota Territory. Skullneck had heard about the woman who had tamed wolves and made rain, and that made him madder than a bee-stung buffalo. That female's a menace, he scowled. She's got to be stopped. Skullneck and his gang of pug uglies swaggered onto Main Street. How thoughtful, said Carlotta when she saw the outlaws approaching. A welcoming committee. Rip snorting rattlesnakes, cussed Missouri Mike. That's no committee, that's trouble. Skullneck Sam spat a stream of tobacco juice and snarled. This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Carosa. Carlotta alighted from the stagecoach. Really, she said. It looks quite spacious. Skullneck growled. Don't play dumb with me, songbird. It's time for a showdown. At the word showdown, Deadeye citizens ducked behind barrels and dove into storefronts. Missouri Mike, towering beneath his stagecoach, cried, Tarnation, Miss Cruiser, take cover! But his warning came too late. Skullneck and his gang had already counted off 10 paces. Draw, hollered Skullneck. The bad guys reached for their guns. Carlotta was quicker. She filled her lungs and blasted the outlaws with Puccini's Girl of the Golden West. The song shot down Main Street and struck the gang members right between the eyes. The gang members shivered. They shook. They swayed in time to the magnificent tune. Dropping their guns, they gushed, "Oh, rapture! The world's a wonderful place!" Then, linking their arms, they skipped away in search of daisies to sniff. Only Skull-necked Sam remained to face the music. Steeling himself against Carlotta's sweet sound, he defiantly stood his ground. "No mere melody's gonna whoop me," he seethed. Carlotta smiled. She aimed her song straight at Skullneck and let loose a soul-shivering aria. The music hit its mark. It knocked a gun from Skullneck's hand. It knocked the scowl from his face. It filled his soul to almost overflowing. Skullneck felt the music swelling inside him. Panic! He slapped his own hands over his ears and he cried, "I can't hear you! I can't hear you!" Carlotta turned up the volume. Her voice exploded in an ear-shattering crescendo. The force of it blew over benches and blew out windows. It blew Skullneck off his feet and into the Deadeye Community watering trough. The outlaw went down splashing. And he came up singing. His face flushed with joy. Skullneck made a graceful leap from the trough. The music poured from him and blended harmoniously with Carlotta's. The sound of the divine duet drew Deadeye citizens from their hiding places. They gathered around the opera singer and the outlaw. As the final notes faded, the townsfolk tossed their hats into the air. Missouri Mike wiped the tears streaming from his face. The gang members threw daisies. Carlotta turned to her singing partner. "You have a beautiful baritone voice, Mr. Skullneck." "Aw, shucks, ma'am." Skullneck blushed. "It was nothing." The mayor elbowed his way through the crowd. "Miss Carlotta," he declared, "Deadeye would be right proud to make you a sheriff of our fine city." He presented Carlotta with a tin star. "Yours is a beautiful town, Mr. Mayor," replied Carlotta, "but I am a singer, not a sheriff. However, I do know someone who can handle the job." Carlotta pinned the star on Skullneck's vest. "I'm as happy as a tick on a hound dog," Skullneck said, and grinned. Then Carlotta called to Missouri Mike, and the entire town escorted the travelers back to their stagecoach. "Don't you worry, Carlotta," Skullneck called after the opera singer. "I'll do you proud." And as the stagecoach bumped westward into the sunset, Carlotta heard Skullneck Sam practicing his scales. The end.